Morning, everybody.
Good morning.
The Dr. Simonds Metabolics and Weight Loss Ask Me Anything Facebook Live event on Monday, June 26th. You can tell stepping outside, it's not January.
It's going to be 94 today.
That's correct. It's going to be warm with some weather this afternoon coming in, I think.
Yeah.
Cold front's going to move in and cause some thunderstorms and stuff, and maybe some hail. So everybody stay safe on that front. This is the Ask Me Anything.
Yes.
Facebook Live that we do every other Monday. Unless there's like vacation or something like that. This is Michelle Kennedy, and I am Dr. Simonds.
Yes.
Michelle's a nurse practitioner, right? For those of you who don't know her, a very good one, I might add. I've told you that before. We know a lot about the treatment of obesity because we've been doing it a long time.
Yes.
And we're here to share our thoughts about weight loss and to answer your questions today. Now, we give away a $25 Target gift card, right,
yes,
Michelle?
We are doing that again today. If you are attending live right now, we need you to do two things to be eligible for that gift card. We need you to comment #SimonsAMA and like this video. If you need instructions, just look at Susie. Susie is on it. Good morning, Susie. We're so glad to have you here. That comment #SimonsAMA and liking this video will get you eligible to win. We will draw a winner at the end of this. If you're watching this recorded, stay tuned. Every time we do one of these live, you could win one of these.
That's right.
All right.
That's right. Now, just a reminder, we're open today in both locations. We have on-site pharmacy, as most of you know.
Okay.
And look, I'll just address something that wasn't asked in the questions. We prescribe medication, prescription medication to help you lose weight.
Yeah.
We do that. I get questions about this all the time. You know, people say, well, do you prescribe the newer medications? And I'm like, well, first of all, for Michelle and I, most of these things aren't that new. They've been around for years.
Yeah.
The public is just finding out about them.
Yes.
But yes, we prescribe them.
We have everything.
And we prescribe them in combination. So if you're talking about injectables like Wegovy, for example, yes, we prescribe it.
Yeah.
We absolutely prescribe it. We've been prescribing it. We don't even think that much about it because those are things that have always been kind of our bread and butter. So yes, we prescribe phentermine. Yes, we prescribe Wegovy. Yes, we prescribe things like that in combination. And to know whether that stuff is right for you, you got to come in and see us.
Yeah, make an appointment.
We can help guide you through those decisions, and don't fret. We can guide you through that process.
Yeah.
Okay.
And some of you may be thinking, well, then why haven't I been on Wegovy? Since it was out. Insurance coverage was very poor the first few years it was out. We are just now, thanks to some of the social media coverage. And some things happening in the government, we're finally getting more insurers picking it up. Some states Medicaid is covering it. We're looking to hopefully get Medicare to cover it because then nobody wants to be worse than Medicare. So that will help a lot with coverage. But we've just seen a big boom over the past really 6 to 12 months with coverage opening up.
Yeah, so much so that there's been some supply chain problems.
Yes.
And so we'll be honest with you about that. Even if we write you a prescription today, it doesn't mean you'll have it tomorrow.
Absolutely.
It may be a couple months before you can get it. But we are open to all of that. We believe in prescribing those medications. And so we haven't made a lot of special announcements because it's always been the way we've operated.
Yeah,
right?
it feels special because of the media. But for us, it's always been any FDA-approved medication, plus several that we use off-label.
Yeah.
We are absolutely interested and willing. Most of our patients are on combination therapy. And luckily, even if you have your heart set on getting, let's say, branded Wegovy, we have other options. We have an on-site pharmacy, right?
Yeah.
You don't have to leave with nothing, even if that one thing is hard to find in pharmacies.
That's correct. That's exactly right. And so I just want to make one other point before we get on to the questions is that this idea of the combination drug therapy, I think a lot of people, and this separates us. I'm going to take a moment to brag on us because most people in the medical community treat this as if, hey, you either get the pepperoni pizza or the sausage pizza, right? You get Pepsi or Coke or whatever it is, right? Okay. Chevrolet or Ford. You can only pick, they act like you can only pick one thing. And the truth of the matter is the real home runs are in the combination drug therapy. Using more than one agent that works by different mechanisms. That's where we see the crazy stuff. So giving up phentermine to go on Wegovy doesn't make sense. You do both. Okay. And if someone's telling you different, they don't know what you're talking about. And the data backs it up. The data in the medical literature backs that up. And what we see on a day-to-day basis backs it up. So,
if you have any other questions, let us know either in comments if you're watching live or submit, right? We always are looking down at our papers because people submit these wonderful questions, and that's what this is. It's an Ask Me Anything. So you ask us, and then we talk about it. Welcome Nina as well. Good morning. So we have 2 entries. We got a 50-50
That's
shot
right.
for Susie and Nina.
Yeah.
Comment
Lovely.
hashtag Simonds AMA and like this
That's
video
right.
if you're here, but you haven't.
Before we get off that subject of the medications, I just want to make 2 other points because I saw some news stories again over the weekend about this. The Wegovy, if you kind of watch social media and news sites and stuff, there's a trial going on with an oral version.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, the brand name of the oral version that's used for diabetes is called Rybelsus, and that same company, which is Novo Nordisk, that makes the Wegovy, that makes Ozempic, that makes Rybelsus, is using a higher dose of the semaglutide, which is Rybelsus, in their trials, and it's looking very good. And so I anticipate that in the next year to 18 months, there'll be a new oral form of this medication approved for weight loss and available for use. I also anticipate, I get this question a lot. Mounjaro is a weekly injectable made by Eli Lilly that's approved for diabetes, that works a lot like Wegovy, and it does help you lose weight, and we've prescribed a lot of it, but it's approved for diabetes. It is about to be approved for weight loss too. Now they have a supply chain problem, and just because it gets approved for diabetes doesn't mean you'll be able to find it or that your insurance is going to cover it. So those are issues, right? You'll have to work through, and look, the cost out of pocket for those things is expensive. It's between $1,000 and $1,500 a month, so it's like a mortgage payment. So, but Michelle and I stay abreast of these things so we can explain what your options are, and And we want you to, we kind of get it all the time, so we don't think of it as being new, but we don't want you to feel like you're out of the loop on any of these things.
Right. And the other name for Mounjaro is tirzepatide. That's the generic name, just like semaglutide is the generic for Wegovy. And Ozempic. Ozempic's for diabetes, Wegovy's for weight loss. They're the same thing. It's semaglutide.
Same exact.
I know that the media has a lot of words they're throwing out, a lot of big words, but they're all like very, very similar. It's just a question of, can we get it in pharmacies? Can we get it approved from your insurance, right? And if not, can you afford it?
Right. That's it.
Yeah.
That's.
But we're here to help you navigate that.
Yes.
Yeah, good.
Yes, indeed. Okay, so let's get to the first question from Casey.
Yes. Casey's asking, is it okay to eat frozen meals during weight loss? I work a lot. It's been helping me lose weight, but I'm worried it may not be healthy. I think there are some really great options out there, Casey. I do. I think the frozen food industry has come a long way. What were the first ones? Was it like the Hungry Man?
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
Like the huge TV dinners with like potatoes and meat.
That's right. Yeah.
So that's not all we have anymore, luckily. Yeah, right. Who knows what that is? But yeah, they have gotten much better. I know a lot of our patients do the meal delivery companies, and our website has a resources section, and we have listed a lot of those types of delivery. So people think of like HelloFresh and Blue Apron. Those are fresh ingredients you have to make. But if you don't even have the time for that, and you can't find in stores what you like, there are ones that will actually mail you frozen meals, such as Factor. That's a really, really common one, but that's one of many, many, many. So I'd say, Casey, if it's working, keep doing it.
That's it.
Yeah.
And you just said it right there in your question. It's been helping me lose weight.
Yeah, and it's convenient and it's easy. And quite frankly, if we're doing a comparison to you going through a drive-through or you eating that frozen dinner, guarantee that frozen dinner is going to be more nutrient dense. Like it's just, guaranteed.
I think the other thing I would just add in here, Casey, and this may not have even crossed your mind, but I know I get this question all the time. And it's about the salt content in these things.
Good point.
Okay. And I think Michelle backed me up on this. Okay. Quit this demonizing of salt.
Salt's not the enemy.
It's not the enemy.
No.
Salt has never been the enemy. Sugar is the enemy. These excessive carbohydrates and sugar in particular is the enemy. A lot of those things that have excessive amounts of sugar also have these salt, and to blame everything on the salt is frankly insane in my opinion.
I completely agree.
I just would add that in. I wouldn't when you're losing weight like this on a restricted calorie diet, so what if it's got extra salt? This is not a problem. It's not going to give you all sorts of health problems and this sort of thing.
I actually was just having a conversation with a patient who said, well, I'm so salt sensitive. I said, well, what makes you say that? I said, well, every time I have a Chinese or Mexican food at a restaurant, I'm really swollen the next day. And I said, well, is salt the only thing you're eating, or is it noodles?
Yeah.
Is it chips?
Yeah.
Is it tons of
That's right.
carbs? Are you drinking a margarita? You know, like there's so many other factors.
things.
And I said, oh my gosh, you're right.
Yeah.
Maybe it's not just the salt. Maybe it's the carbohydrate context of the meal and all the processing and all that stuff and
That's
the
right.
alcohol. So
of
keep in mind,
sugar in the
right?
sauce and
Yes.
stuff. Yeah.
Correlation is not
Yeah.
causation. Just because
That's
a lot of ultra processed, not great for you food has salt in it, it's not necessarily the salt that's the bad guy. It's just by association in there with the stuff that's not great for us, and it's pretty inflammatory. So Casey, if you're really worried about it may not be healthy, we also have a lot of good blogs on our website about quick and easy options if you wanted to do something different. Like if you had time to make some eggs, or if you could pre-cook. We've talked about meal prep. Pre-cook a bunch of meat ahead of time, right? Get some frozen vegetables. If you wanted to just do, a couple of days a week of the frozen meals and then a couple of other stuff that's a little bit more freshly made. But if it's working, don't change it.
There you go.
That's what I would say. If you need recipes, if you do want to, a couple days a week, try to make the time. Casual Keto Doctor on Instagram,
Yes.
which is this guy right here.
Yeah, very casual.
So much good, very
Yeah.
casual today. Yes, really good recipes.
Yeah, we have
also
recipes every Tuesday in our
Yes.
email. Yeah.
Patients comment on those
Yeah.
all the time. Say,
That's right.
oh, I saw the stuffed
They're good.
mushrooms. I saw the meatballs.
Yes.
I saw. They're delicious and not super complicated. We try to make it pretty
That's right.
simple for you.
Yep.
We get everyone's busy.
Right.
So thank you, Casey. You want to take Stephanie?
Okay, Stephanie asked, does the number of meals I eat a day make a difference to my progress? In most cases, I would say the less you eat, the better.
Yeah.
Now, if you're an Olympic athlete and training and stuff like that, then that may not be true. But for most people who have the disease of obesity and are trying to lose weight, less is better.
Yes.
And that means less sugar and less flour too.
Mhm.
So I'm assuming that if you eat less, you're eating less processed flour and processed sugar, which raise your insulin level. And once that insulin level comes down, if you're in a fasted state, you burn fat as your primary energy source, which is the whole goal, to lose excess body fat, right? And so we hear this question a lot. We get it almost every week about eating 3 meals and snacks and all that stuff. It's bunk, bull, and baloney. It's not true. If you're an athlete, it's probably true. If you're not, then don't worry about it.
Yeah. Or if you've had maybe a weight loss surgery and there's been a restricted size to your stomach,
right.
and maybe eating smaller amounts, or even sometimes I found now with these newer medications, these injectables, brand new, but they've been around for a little while. We've had experienced people on these for years, and we have found that sometimes those make you feel so full that you can only do small amounts. But usually with that, because it's helping your appetite, and maybe the patient's also on an oral medication like phentermine, it's not small meals every hour or 2 hours. It's small meals every 3, 4, or 5 hours still. So there's still a restriction happening, but I agree completely. I think that 5 meals a day to keep your metabolism up, or 3 meals with snacks, that there is no actual scientific backing. In fact, it is the opposite. We really do need longer periods between eating for digestive rest and to get that insulin level down and keep that blood sugar down. If we're eating constantly, our bodies are constantly having to deal with calories coming in instead of burning the calories on our body that we want to.
Yes, we have a problem with abundance here in the United States. It's a good problem to have. We have a problem with the abundance of food. Yeah, and so eating less is a good thing.
Yes, absolutely. I would say make sure you get your 30 grams of protein, though, Steph, if you can, right? When you limit your meals to, the quality matters more. When you're eating less, right, and the quantity is less, and the quality matters more. So protein is what you want to prioritize. I say this a lot. I say when you have, less room in your stomach due to being on medications, which is the whole goal, protein is first, right? Fibers, veggies is second. Healthy fats is third. Non-processed carbohydrate maybe is fourth, depending on what your goals are, what your needs are, and then all the other junk food in the grocery store is last. And usually you're not going to have room for that.
So this is the Dr. Simonds Metabolics and Weight Loss. Ask me anything. Facebook Live of Monday, June the 26th. Thank you for listening. You can register to win the $25 gift card.
Yeah, you can do 2 things for us. You can like this video, comment #SimonsAMA in the comment section. and that will make you eligible to win. Right now, there's only 2 entries, so it's a 50-50 shot. So if you're watching this live, don't be shy, comment in. And if you have any questions or other things you want to share with us, please let us know. That's what this is for. That's why it's live.
That's right. Okay,
All
Nina.
right.
Nina's been steady, under 800 calories and losing consistently for 10 days. I believe I haven't lost any since then. This ties into Stephanie's question.
Mhm.
Do I need to add calories? Also, a friend told me, this is a second question, that there's new information that diet soda or soda can change your DNA. Is it true or false? So let's take question 1. I would say the answer to your question about the 800 calories, no, you do not need to eat more. If your protein intake is adequate, you're fine.
Yeah.
Yes. So I always say people don't die in starving countries of malnutrition. They die of protein calorie malnutrition.
Mm-hmm.
The thing that keeps your metabolic rate elevated is the protein intake.
Protein
Right?
is key. Yes. Yeah.
So,
Good point.
And we insist on 30 grams at a meal when we to keep this metabolic rate elevated.
Mm-hmm.
So if you're under 800 calories and your meals have 30 grams of protein or more, you don't need to do anything different.
Yeah. And keep in mind, there's a lot of water fluctuations that happen.
Yeah.
I know 10 days can feel like a very long time, but I do have a lot of patients, and I have doing this over a decade, you for far longer. We have seen patients lose a large amount and have a few weeks of a stall, and then they change nothing. It's just patience that they practice, and then they lose again.
Oh.
Right. So it's not that you're doing anything wrong. If it continues, maybe 30 days or more, and you're still not seeing progress, then come and see us. We just need to help you figure out what we need to change, right? Usually it's not increasing your calories though, right? Because that's going to put you more in that insulin excess, calorie excess. So it may be something else. We may figure out what else is going on. Maybe there's a medication that was added, right? Maybe there's something else going on with, the things that you're eating, right? Maybe it's not enough protein, what have you. So we'll help you troubleshoot that. All right. Second question. True or false on soda changing your DNA?
Yeah,
I haven't seen this, honestly.
Yeah, if I'd like to scare people about drinking soda, please don't do it. Okay, please don't do it. You'll grow a third ear and a fourth nose or whatever. Okay, whatever I can say to scare you is good.
Yeah.
Okay, there's nothing good in soda for you, so if you can just get away from it, that'd be great. Now so this brings up a concept of what's called epigenetics. We used to think you just got your genetics from your parents. They handed it down to you. This is the way it was. Okay, we now know that yes, that's true, but it's also true that the way your body interacts with the environment can change your DNA. So, and this in particular does apply to what you eat and drink. Okay, and so this is kind of a scary field. Even, for example, what your mother may eat or drink when you're in the womb can interact with the DNA of the fetus and set things like obesity in motion for life. Right? That's the concept. So if it can do it that way, I can totally see the scenario where 15 years from now, there's going to be a scientific discovery, and there are going to be scientists that come out and say, when you drink this stuff, the following change happens with your DNA because of this phenomena of epigenetics, and it turns on these obesity genes, for example, or cancer genes, or whatever it is. Okay, so I just know that there's nothing natural about soda.
No.
It's just not.
No.
And so I think, if you can possibly avoid it, do it. That would be my advice to you.
I agree. I'm going to have to look up specifically what you're referring to, Nina. But yeah, the epigenetics thing, we know. And I have seen research for years talking about, we know sugar's bad, but those artificial sweeteners in excess, a lot of people who drink diet soda, that may be all they drink. And that's a lot of artificial sweeteners. And I have seen the research about how that can change our gut microbiome. So those really friendly bacteria in our gut that really do a lot for us, right? They manage our mood, they manage our metabolic health, our immune system. There's a lot going on in there. And when we are consuming tons and tons and tons of diet beverages, whether it's soda or other diet versions of things, I do think the supporting research is mounting for that being a problem.
Yes.
But very, very good question. And I will have to look up, Nina, specifically what you're referring to, what new information, whatever you're referring to, because that epigenetics things have been for a while.
Okay.
All right, Christy, I'm close to hitting my weight loss goal. When I get there, should I slowly start adding calories back in or immediately jump to my maintenance calories? I'm curious, Christy, if you were here right now, I would ask you, what helped you come up with maintenance calories? Is this an app that has helped you decide that you need to eat more calories? Because I'll tell you, oh, there's Nina. Thank you, Nina. I'm so glad you're here. Remember to comment hashtag Simonds AMA and like this video.
That's right.
So the idea of eating differently in weight maintenance versus weight loss, I think, has perpetuated. But in our experience, there is not much of a difference.
Right.
What you do to lose your weight, whether it's calorie control, fasting, right, getting off other medications that have caused a problem, changing your sleep habits, behaviors, etc., that is going to need to perpetuate long term, because we have permanent changes in our body. When we're at a certain weight at one point in our life that's higher, and then we get that weight down, our body will fight to increase our body weight, and that includes a drop in metabolism, an increase in hunger, reduction in being able to feel full. We've talked about this on other shows. That means that if you reduce your calories to get your weight down here, if you add calories, that's just reinforcing that defense system to push your weight back up. So I would say, first, you don't add any calories back.
Yes. I mean, you got to keep an eye on it. That's all I'm going to say, is you got to keep a very close eye on it.
Very close.
I wouldn't trust an app or anything else.
Yeah.
I would put it to the test. I always say the proof of the pudding's in the eating.
Yeah.
Okay.
They go very slowly.
That's right.
Maybe 50 calories a day for a few
weeks. And I'd get on that scale every morning, and I'd see exactly how that's affecting you, because I think everyone's different. Michelle's right. It may be a lot less than you think, and a lot less than some app says.
Yeah, I just don't have a lot of experience of people eating more in maintenance. Now, I will say they may expand what they are eating, right? We can be pretty restrictive for a certain amount of time, and then it is human nature and being social and food being everywhere that we may want to start exchanging some of those calories for a few more indulgences in weight maintenance, and that is okay. However, I usually do find it is a caloric exchange. Your budget is the same, how you spend it just maybe a little bit different, and that's what I see to be most successful. But yes, it is individualized. Just go slow. Make sure you're on top of it, just like Doc said. There is, that I'm aware of, no such thing as like, you're in maintenance, we're going to add X number of calories. It just doesn't work like that.
Yes. Yeah.
Great question, though.
Okay, Kat has a question about, she lives in another state. She'd like to start seeing a weight loss doctor. What questions should I ask to make sure they're legit? Well, there's 4 pillars to the treatment of obesity. It's nutrition, it's physical activity, it's behavioral change, and it's pharmacology, or the use of medications, not in the short term, but in the long term. And they need to be willing to use multiple medications if necessary, and be committed to that strategy, not only for weight loss, but long-term weight maintenance if necessary. And if they're not of this mindset, in my opinion, they're not legit.
Yeah.
Okay. Usually those people are board certified by the American Board of Obesity Medicine, active members of either the Obesity Society or the Obesity Medicine Association, and they have a credible website that makes clear these things. Okay. And so anyway, that's kind of the acid test for me. There's not that many people around that I find that are really doing this correctly. So I think there's still a lot of work to be done, but if you're going to treat obesity like a chronic disease, that's what you got to do.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. And the Obesity Medicine Association that Dr. Simonds mentioned, that is who we get a lot of our education through. We're both fellows of that association. There is a way on their website to search a obesity medicine provider near you. So if you go to obesitymedicine.org, believe it's right in the top right, so it's like find a provider. Click on that, and then just put in the first 2 digits of your zip code. Not all of it, because that's too narrow, but if you put in the first 2 and click search, you will see in your area if there is anyone maybe similar to us, right? At least getting the same education as us,
right?
Which would be a big plus.
Yep.
Good question, Kat. Tyler, how important are macros if I stay within a calorie deficit? You can lose weight on lots of different macro ratios within a calorie deficit. I think what we tend to swing towards is that higher protein, just because, like Dr. Simonds mentioned, that keeps our metabolic rate up, right? Protein has a lot of nutrient density as well. It keeps you full. So if you don't want to be super, super hungry on a calorie deficit, a higher protein would definitely help, and or a higher fat. So usually it's protein, fat, carbohydrate, and the carbohydrates coming from fibrous vegetables, right? Things we can get in a garden.
Yes.
But it can depend on the person. Again, it can be very individualized. If you wanted to do a ketogenic style, your macros would look very, very different than if you wanted to do a higher carbohydrate or moderate carbohydrate type of plan.
Yeah, I mean, if it's a really low amount of calories, I always say starvation works.
It does.
Because starvation works. So,
it's a little hard.
Well, yeah, regardless of what you eat. But there's, I think, a correct way to do it. And if you're making sure you get the correct amount of protein and you minimize those simple carbohydrates, I think that in a calorie deficit, you're going to lose weight just fine.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
I totally agree.
You can't really do, I mean, it's buried in there. We don't really say it, but because fat has 9 calories a gram and protein and carbohydrate has 4 calories a gram, it's not as if you can do a really high fat diet on a calorie restricted diet.
It is difficult.
It's hard to do.
Yeah.
It's hard to do because it ends up being not a lot of food.
Yeah, unless you're doing like
it's
fasting.
Very calorie dense, right?
Yeah, if you're doing fasting, you're doing what we call OMAD, or one meal a day.
Yeah.
Maybe that one meal is going to be higher in fat, higher in protein, very low in carbohydrate. But not a lot of people are doing 24-hour fast 7 days a week.
Yeah,
So you really got to budget in the really low calorie carbohydrates and then your proteins. And I will say too, some people, when we talk about, okay, we're going to try to calorie restrict and we're going to try to carb restrict and we're going to try to keep the protein up, they say, well, what the heck am I going to eat? And there's a lot of things that you really still can eat. And if you are stuck, protein shakes can have so few calories, so few sugars, such high amounts of protein. Doesn't mean you have to live on protein shakes, but if you replace 1 or 2 meals a day with that is really going to simplify it. Yeah, it really is the easy button. And there are really good ones in the stores now. The 2 most popular that we talk about a lot are Fairlife and Premier Protein. But there are other ones too, powders you can make yourself as well. But that is kind of the easy button.
Yeah, I agree with that.
To keep calories down and get your macros where it's easy peasy, Tyler. Yep. All right, we have a winner for the gift card. It's Nina.
Nina, you're the winner. Yes.
Thank you. You had a great question you submitted and we attended live. We love it. Thank you so much for watching us. See all of our other shows recorded.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's right. They're all recorded. They're on our website, on simonsmetabolics.com, and on YouTube. Let's see. Now, wait a minute. Yes, we'll be after it. It'll be the week after 4th of July.
Yeah, we'll be back in 2 weeks.
Yes.
Yep. Oh, Nina, you're welcome.
Yep.
We'll be in touch with you to get your digital gift card, okay?
That's right, yes.
Yeah, so we will see you in 2 weeks. Everyone be safe tonight with the storms.
And
give us a call.
Yeah, give us a call if you need an appointment. And we'll see you after the holidays. Have a great 4th of July, and we'll talk to you in 2 weeks.